Thank you. Well, how to start? Let me tell you what I'm doing, and it might spark enthusiasm and interest. A while ago, I did a one-man show on Broadway. On Broadway. And I did the limited, it was successful, and did a limited run, and then I took it on tour, ended up in Canada. No. Don't do that. You'll make the Canadians mad. And I recorded it in Toronto and Hamilton, and then I never did anything with it. I had been asked to do it in New York, and doing a one-man show is a chore. I mean, like, people, this is in essence a one-man show. So, but you gotta make it amusing and interesting. So you cough, and that's good. Because people like it when you cough and think you're gonna infect them. So, well, I'm coughing because I was doing a show in Toronto, and I was flying on Air Canada. Now, I don't want to say anything against my native country, but Air Canada is the worst. Oh my God! I mean, the flight. I was coming back home from Toronto, flying to Los Angeles. And the plane was supposed to leave around 5:30, 6 o'clock in the evening. And it was delayed 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 o'clock. The plane hadn't left. And then they canceled the flight and said, we're closing the airport. You gotta find a hotel. You gotta find a hotel. How do you find a hotel at 11 o'clock?
Price lines.
So they pushed me around, I finally got to a room, and the next plane out was 8:30 in the evening, and I came down at 5:30 to the lobby of the hotel, and then get to the airport and get into the fun, and then it didn't leave until 11 o'clock, Air Canada. Dazzling. So, having flown to Toronto the day before, and didn't get any sleep. I didn't sleep for 2 days. So today, I'm a little bit hoarse from something. Now, hang on. I'm making sense, I promise you. So I recorded this one-man show, and when I opened it in New York, the night before, I said to the couple of people that were with me, I said, listen, I've rewritten the show. I had been asked by Australia to do the one-man show, and I thought, hey, why not? I'll go to Australia, do a one-man show, and if I fail, who knows? So it didn't fail, and it was successful, and I toured all of Australia, and then all of Canada, and then New York said, come to New York, and I rewrote it, and it was quite a different show and I didn't have any rehearsal, so I was going to open tomorrow night in front of all the critics, 2,500 people, in something I hadn't performed in front of anybody before. So I said to the people, my wife and the people who were with me, I said, listen, I gotta be very careful about what I eat. You guys have the hamburger. I'm going to have salad and very digestible things. So the next morning I got up and I was sick as a dog. Dr. Oz, whom I had met on more than one occasion, and we begat a friendship, came over to take care of me. Dr. Oz! And even he couldn't do it. I was eliminating stuff from every orifice, especially that orifice. And so reluctantly I left the toilet and made my way to the theater and went on stage and said, hello everybody, again, one-man show. A one-man shows mean you're alone. There's nobody there, just you. Halfway through the show, I had to go. So I said, there's been a technical difficulty, and so I'll be right back. And I ran up the stairs to the dressing room, and I had to shower, and finally I came back down and said, thank you very much, and continued on and finished the show. So, my point in telling you all this is that I recorded the show in Hamilton and in Toronto, Ontario, and I just put it away. I don't know why I didn't do something with it, but I kept it electronically. And then I decided this last couple of months, I've got to show this one-man show, which doesn't have the interruption that was there opening night, but it had received really good notices and it was very successful. So at WilliamShatner.com, I'm not sure there's a table here at DragonCon, but WilliamShatner.com will give you the information about this extraordinary moment in my life, the one-man show. And then, on top of that, writing a book, but the book is about you and me. And it will be a series of interviews of fans and what Star Trek did with their lives. And if you want to be a part of this, and it'll be, I don't know how the selection process will be, but I'll do some of the interviews. And also, WilliamShatner.com, go to that and maybe participate in an unusual, if not unique, book. So that's that. So where shall I begin? I shall begin. You say I should begin right there? Why not? She's blonde and pretty. That's a good place to begin. What? Have you got a question?
Good morning, Mr. Shatner. How are you?
That's a good question. That doesn't have anything to do with why I'm here, but I'm great. I feel great. You can hear how great I feel.
Wonderful. Well, so I had two very quick questions. One,
you're going to ask two very quick questions?
Very, very quick.
Well, why would you want to be quick with your question?
One,
you're not going to explain that. That's what you do in interviews. Somebody says, and how are you and your wife getting along? Well, the sky is blue because, what's your question?
One, do you have a favorite horse? And then two, can you please talk about Boston Legal?
Boston Legal. Oh, okay. What was Boston Legal? Well, things go by so quickly. So, my favorite horse. Horses, I'm going to go even further. I have been studying. I'll go even further back than that. I did a concert, in effect a concert, with Neil deGrasse Tyson. So we had been to the South Pole aboard a ship, and we were hired to talk and entertain, and you know, and because he is such a brainiac and I'm a barbarian, that I felt I better know something that's worth listening to. So I boned up on the explorers who were famous for the South Pole. And I did, as best I could, got the basics of quantum physics. Can I help you, sir? Because you're in my way. No, let me help you. Can I find you a seat? Can I bring you a drink? Can I get you a girl? I mean, anything. Do you want to come down front? You just want to get out of here, is what you want. So I got the basics of quantum, which I knew Neil was going to obviously talk about, but I also got to the explorers of the South Pole, and when we finished the essentially 2-week trip, I came home, and my question was, why did we explore? Why was that person, that individual, who climbed off the tree? I mean, he was very happy in the tree. Got the fruit, got the, you know, was protected. Most animals couldn't get to. Why did they, whoever it was, climb down the tree and start looking for stuff on the ground? Why? Why did Hillary try and climb and ultimately climb the Mount Everest? Why did Magellan go through all the things he did to find a passage through South America and then get into the Pacific and name it Pacifica because he thought it was such a gentle ocean, and it turned out it blew in every which way, and finally in the Philippines, he's changed from the guy who solicited money from his native country, and they wouldn't give it to him, so he went to Spain and got the money to explore there, and then ends up in the Philippines trying to turn it into a Christian country. They had their own religion, so they killed him. And one ship containing 15 people, instead of 5 ships with 250 people, made it back to England without Magellan, who now was dead. Why did he do that? Why did he go there in the first place? Everybody said the earth is flat, you're going to fall off. And he proved everybody wrong. But he died. What is the reason human beings go to these places and explore unbidden? Why is it in our DNA to explore? And now we're going to go to Mars. Why? Why are we going to Mars? It's a good question. Because, in my opinion, and several other scientists, in many scientists' opinion, Mars is, I think, 1/6 of gravity, no atmosphere, month-long dust storms, the radiation is killing. I mean, you don't want to live there. You're better off in Atlanta. What is that reason for exploration? So I started writing about it, and the first subject I took was the 3 main explorers of the South Pole, where I had been in really extraordinary journey I took with who has become my friend, Neil deGrasse Tyson's towering intellect. Why did Scott, Englishman, and very English, and I'm going to explore a place that doesn't exist, South Pole. We've made these imaginary lines on the globe, and way down here is a place that's man-made. We don't know what it is, where it is, what it does. We don't care about it because it's nothing. And I'm going to explore it. And I'm going to take engines, I'm going to take plows, and I'm going to take horses. I don't know why I'm taking horses, but I'm taking horses. And I'm wearing English wool because it's good English wool to keep us warm. And I'm bringing food like biscuits to take care of us and it won't freeze. Wrong. The engines died, the horses died. He had only a few dogs, and the food he ate didn't give him enough nourishment in that extreme cold, and he dies. Shackleton comes in. He's failed at everything in England. And he's even tried to get to the South Pole and failed there once before. He puts together a sailing ship and hand-picks 28 guys. Hand-picks the navigator. Even has a photographer that he hand-picks. And he's got 28 sailors, sails into the open ocean and gets to the South Seas, and it freezes over, and his ship is frozen in sea ice for 2 years. And he starts eating the seals, which is what he should be doing because it contains the fat calories. But he can't get a ship out of being locked in ice. So 2 years, and the ice begins to break his ship up. He takes the rowboats, the escape mechanism. He has 3 small boats. The 28 guys pull those little boats to the 100 miles to the edge of the sea. They get in there. The navigator is able to get a sextant reading of the sun every so often. And they make it to an island called Elephant Island, which generally is hidden in storms, but not that time, and not the time when Neil deGrasse and I made it. So we went to where 20 of the 28 men disembarked. They used 2 of the 3 rowboats to be their haven, and 8 guys in one rowboat go 800 miles to an island, to South Georgia Island, and they don't have the strength to go around Georgia Island where there's a whaling station. 2 to 3 of the guys climb the mountain, slide on their backsides, go to this whaling station, and Mr. Shackleton says, "How do you do? I'm Shackleton, and I'm here. We've got 800 miles back there. We've got 20 people that need rescuing." They try 4 times to get out. The weather is so bad, 4th time they make it. They rescue the 20 people on that island and make it back to England. And he's a hero whose name is Shackleton, lives now 200 years, 100 years after he had that. He failed, but he got all his men back, so he was a hero. The only person who made it to the South Pole and back was a Norwegian by the name of Amundsen. He went to the North Pole. Oh, I'm at the South Pole. he met the North Pole. And he lived among the Inuits, among the Eskimos. And he learned what skins to wear for the weather. He learned what foods to eat. Fat, seal, like all the animals there do. And he made it to the South Pole and back because he had learned how to live with nature. Why did those three guys do that? It was crazy. I've been to near the South Pole, and I'm telling you, there's nothing there. It's a white desert filled with penguins. But the penguins are all over there. Thousands of them. They live among the rocks. And then every so often, a penguin, unknown to us, says, "Oh my God!" And they all leap up in fear, and 10,000 of them will jump into the ocean for no known reason. Why did those men do that? Why did Magellan subject himself and finally to death to make those explorations? That was something I began to write. And then I got a hold of Neil, and I said, this is what I'm doing. Maybe we could do it together. And somebody else came in, Daniel Fox, to produce it. And we did a show in Seattle involving this subject with Neil deGrasse Tyson and myself. And we were talking like this. We had no pre-planned thing, and it was successful. Great applause. We got a lot of approbation, and we're going to do it elsewhere and record it. And try to discover the mystery. I hate it when my voice does that. The mystery of human nature. I'm reading now about a whole new idea of what the universe contains. We thought, to begin with, primitive man thought there was a blanket over the sky and pinpricks that could be seen at night. And then the Greeks began to map some of those stars that they could see, and they called the North Pole. And gradually, human beings began to insinuate themselves into the science of the universe. And the universe turns out to be beyond our comprehension. The universe, the English language doesn't encompass the mystery, the awe, the unknown of what the universe is, because we keep making new discoveries. We started with, particles and quantum, and now it's further along than that. There's a thing called the double slit, which now has proven that particles and wave are the same and different. That the rules of quantum are totally different than classical science. And yet, my intuition, and I'm sure many of yours, is there's got to be one unifying concept. It can't be all of these different things. It can't be a particle here and a wavelength here and classic. It's like the ocean. If you're in the ocean and you're partaking of the waves and the bubbles and the dirt and you're in quantum. If you're standing on a hill looking at the magnificence of the ocean, you're in classical science. The two have to meet. And they don't seem to be meeting, but they have to. That's the voyage that we're on now in the discovery of quantum physics, which is changing everything. Quantum is changing our lives, to begin with artificial intelligence. We're on the lip of all those discoveries. We're on the lip of discoveries of cures for diabetes and cancer and all the things that have affected us. We're on the cure. I'm going to do a show with my daughter who had cancer. And I, 2 years ago, had melanoma. And they operated on it. And I met a doctor who, in peering at the cancer cells, is looking at the other parts of our cells and discovering the aging process so that cancer, the search for the cure for cancers and aging is very close. So I'm going to do a podcast with my daughter trying to discover how to live longer and cure, and the cures for these things are 2 years away. We're this close to discovering cures for cancer, diabetes, all the things and I am talking to scientists who say 120 years of age is nothing. It is theoretically possible to live thousands of years. But in the search for those thousands of years, we can bring 10, 20, 30 years more to life. We're almost there. We're almost at the verge of a new life for humanity. All we have to do is get past the barrier of global warming and our existential death. All we have to do is take care of our world. So, I was asked to go into space. No, don't do that. And I thought they wanted me to go up with Blue Origin first. No, Jeff Bezos, who owns Blue Origin, went up first. But after COVID, they asked me to go up, and I said yes with enthusiasm. So I went up into space and experienced weightlessness, for which there are no words because it's so new. There are no words in the English language for the effect of weightlessness. The scholars who do archaeology through language say the word for horse came into being 10,000 years ago. And other archaeologists say, yeah, we can verify that there are bones for horses about the 10,000 year strata. So it's so new, there are no words to describe it, weightlessness. The astronauts go into swimming pools to try and affect what weightlessness is like. Nothing like it at all. Eventually, as space travel becomes more common, somebody will invent a word for what it felt like for me to be almost prostrate, get rid of the harness that was tying me in, and suddenly I'm floating. It's like out of a dream. It's just, you can't describe it. I'm floating in the air, and I don't want to be. And I turn over and try and get to a window, remembering that I had seen, because there's cameras all around, that I had seen film of Jeff Bezos, who was lying on his belly, floating in the air, cameras there, his feet are apart, and this young man, this adolescent whom they invited as one of the 4 astronauts, is throwing candies at Jeff's asshole. So I knew from that experience that's not what I wanted to do. What I wanted to do was to get to a window. So I floated over to a window, and I looked outside, and I looked forward, and I could see space, black. Now, I'm sure like many of you, I've been fascinated by this thing we call space. I've been fascinated and trying to learn as much as possible about fusion and how stars are made and how they explode and the kinds of stars that abound, the galaxies and their movements, and it's fascinating. The moon itself, a body, and there's a name they gave it, brushes up against Earth 5 billion years ago and knocks off a piece of Earth, which then becomes the moon. The moon and Earth are the same. The material of the moon, the material of the Earth is the same. That miracle is the moon. And we're going to go there. No question. But how that works in space is a fascination of so many scientists. I'm looking to see what's out there, and there's nothing out there. It's all black. It's death. It's 300 something degrees below zero. There's no air. I mean, you're dead. The moment you don't have a suit, you're dead. That's death. And I looked behind me. I saw the wake of the spaceship through the air. It was like a submarine going through the water, and it leaves a wake. That's what the spaceship was doing. I've never heard anybody describe it. We're disturbing the air going through it on our way to where there's no air. And I look back, and I see the Texas desert beige. I see the white clouds. I see the blue sky. I see the beauty of Earth, and I know that's life. And I've been reading a lot about how life emerged and how we think life itself began in the original primitive oceans, and the mystery of life beginning to grow from the sea to land, and the grasses of the earth, of the ocean becoming trees, and the trees to trees communicating with other trees, electrochemical signals along the mycelium of the fungi, electrochemical signals. We have dendrites like the mycelium, and we operate electrochemically, except so much faster. How much of a connection do you need to hear about our human connection to Earth? How we are all one. It isn't like theoretical. The trees, we're more like the trees than not. Everything is a singularity. Everything is connected. The lowliest insect, which shouldn't be said lowly because insects abound and are as old as life. Everything on Earth is connected. All of us are connected by life. And we're destroying our Earth. In every one of us, particles of plastic are floating around our bloodstream. Because somebody, maybe somebody knows, but it's not important, somebody invented plastic from oil. And plastic, my God, we don't have to destroy more trees to make paper or things that containers. We've got plastic. And plastic turns out to be one of the future killers of life. We've got to stop making plastic or make plastic. that can be consumed by bacteria. So within every benefit of mankind lies the death of mankind, and in the death of mankind lies the future. It's absurd. The universe is absurd. And we're living in it, almost dying and almost living. We've got to do something about it. And we've got to do something about it quickly. Otherwise, humanity. Save it for like a blow-up when I leave the stage. We've got to cure ourselves. The earth is Gaia. The Greeks gave the name of the goddess Gaia to earth. And the earth exemplifies certain aspects of life. It has currents. It renews itself. It doesn't reproduce itself. But where did all that salt come from? And there's the possibility that there was another planet before Earth. Everything is so complex. But what we do know for sure, we've got to heal ourselves before this incredible beneficial time for mankind, which is just around the corner. Thank you very much. Pleasure to be with you.